Alright, so I'm sure as you guys know, the M13B has been an incredibly difficult weapon to unlock, as previously you could only earn it by completing a specific challenge in DMZ involving killing the Chemist, but now it's just been made so much easier to unlock, so anyone who's been struggling and wants this weapon, this is the video for you, as I'm going to show you guys how to get it incredibly fast. I've got 4 ways to earn the M13B easily, and 2 of these methods will allow you to get the weapon in under 5 minutes. No joke, no BS, that's honest, under 5 minutes. All I ask is that if you can find this useful, be sure to leave a like so that other people can find this video too. There will be timestamps in the description, as I've got quite a few different methods in this video, so you can jump to whatever one you want. But I'm going to start off with the quickest one. So the first method is probably the easiest one, so I'm going to start off with that one, and it basically involves finding a gold M13B blueprint. So with Season 4 in Vondel, they've added a gold blueprint of the M13B which you can literally go and find, and if you get it, you can get yourself a nice gold blueprint and you can unlock the M13B permanently, so it makes it very, very easy to get the weapon. So the first thing you need to do is you need to either find yourself a rebreather field upgrade, or you can find a scuba gas mask, up to you, but you need some way of breathing underwater. So you want to find a rebreather field upgrade. Just to let you guys know, you can actually unlock the rebreather field upgrade permanently. Before you couldn't, you had to find it in the game, and if you want help with unlocking that, check out my dedicated guide for that. If you don't want to permanently unlock it and you just want to find it in the game, the best place to find it is close to where we're actually going to go. So the best place I found to consistently find it every single time is if you head to sector G5 on the Vondel map, in the river just south of the big red bridge. It's fairly obvious, it's the only bridge on the map like that, and basically if you go to that area, as soon as you swim under the water there'll be a house that you'll see, and if you swim inside the house, and next to a locked supply box will be a rebreather field upgrade propped up against the wall. You obviously want to then just like grab the rebreather field upgrade and head back to the surface of the water. So either unlock it with a challenge or find it in the game, such as under the water here, which it will always spawn there consistently if you need it. If you guys don't want to do that, the other thing is to find a scuba gas mask. I'd actually say that's probably a lot easier, just because it's probably a little bit easier to find as they're quite common, but also with the rebreather you have to keep using it to give yourself more oxygen, whereas with the scuba gas mask you just have to put it on, and as long as you're not underwater for ages you will have enough oxygen on you to survive without having to use it. So it's actually easier to use a scuba gas mask if you can, and these are best found in gas stations in Vondel. They'll be in the front shop on the shelves. There's normally loads of them in every gas station, so get yourself either one of those items, and then what you want to do is you want to find this underwater tunnel. So for this you need to head to sector F5. There's going to be like a little canal of water just next to the road, so make sure you go into that canal in F5, and if you swim part way along it there will be an underwater tunnel on your left, and then what you want to do is swim through this tunnel as quickly as you can until you reach a crossways. There's then several different routes to take. You need to turn left here, then carry on straight down this tunnel until you get to another crossways, then turn right at that tunnel and follow it straight down. Round about here, if you're using the rebreather you'll run out of oxygen, so you need to use the rebreather field upgrade that you picked up earlier. Do that to take a breath, and at the end of this small tunnel follow it round to the left, then straight on, then round to the right, and then round to the left, and then straight on until you see a yellow ladder. So basically follow it round as I do. You'll get to this yellow ladder, climb up the ladder and get out of the water onto the first level. There's nothing exciting here, and then you'll need to climb to the second ladder before entering the secret loot building. Once up the ladder and entering into that bedroom, you'll need to turn left to go into the kitchen/living room, and if you turn left again, in the corner you should see a golden M13B blueprint standing up on a fold out table in the right hand corner of the kitchen, just to the right of the refrigerator/bin. It'll be in that corner, and just as a note, the M13B will not always spawn here every game, but it should be there at least once every 2 to 4 games. So every few games it should definitely be there, but it might not necessarily be there every single time. So if the gold M13B blueprint is not there when you enter the secret loot house, basically just exfil as quickly as you can and then spawn back in again with your rebreather or scuba gas mask or whatever to save having to go and get it first. If it is there, then great. Go to the nearest exfil point or the safest one, run into the green smoke, hold square or X to call in the helicopter, take cover for a bit, and then when the helicopter lands, run straight into the helicopter and exfil, and you've now earned the M13B weapon permanently as the base weapon, but also you get that gold blueprint as well, which is pretty cool. That is the easiest way to get it in the game, and it takes under 5 minutes, really, really easy. If you don't want to do that method, that's absolutely fine, because I've got 3 other methods for you guys in this video. The next method, which again is fairly easy, is the DMZ faction mission challenge. So in season 4, they kind of jumbled up the missions again, they added some new ones in, and one of these DMZ challenges is mission 5 of the Crown faction, the mission known as Chemist's Whereabouts, and for this basically the task says you need to tag 3 enemies in the Mazrah radiation with a recon drone. So go to the Mazrah radiation with a recon drone and tag 3 enemies. For this challenge you'll earn 5,000 XP and also an M13B blueprint as a contraband weapon. Now I believe the Crown faction mission is only available to those who own Modern Warfare 2, so if you don't and you only have Warzone, that's absolutely fine, don't worry, because you can either do the method we just talked talked about with the gold M13B, or you can check out the next strategies later on in this video. They're a little bit more difficult, but still easy with my tips. So don't worry if you don't have one of the two, but if you do, you've got the Crown faction mission, and therefore there's another way to do it here. So what you need to do is first of all do this faction mission, and then we'll talk about how to get the weapon afterwards. So for this Chemist whereabouts faction mission, you want to, on your class, equip a recon drone field upgrade, which saves having to find one on the map. Then spawn into DMZ on our Mazrah, head over to the radiation, which is that obviously that yellow circle on the map with a pink radioactive symbol. Head over there in a vehicle, and then when you're near the zone, try to get close to a group of 3+ enemies without alerting them. Then press L1 and L2 on PlayStation or LB and RB on Xbox to activate your field upgrade and start flying the recon drone towards the enemies. They'll first appear with a basic red diamond or a white dashed line over them, but look at them and you need to be close enough to actually see them, and hover over the enemy with the recon drone, and that will flag them up as an enemy target with a red outlined diamond, and doing this 3 times will tag 3 enemies, and therefore you've completed the challenge. If the recon drone says the target's out of range, try to get closer to the enemy from outside the circle, or if you have to, try and find or pick up a gas mask, head into the circle a little bit, find 3+ enemies and tag them with the recon drone. And obviously if worst comes to worst, fire your weapon, alert the enemies, hopefully they'll come a bit closer to you, and then you can tag them with your recon drone. If your recon drone runs out before you target all 3 enemies, you can either find another recon drone or start a new match. You can often find recon drones quite a lot in those little blue toolboxes, so they're not too difficult to find. You can find them quite easily, but if not, restart the match with another recon drone and have another go. That's fine. Once you've completed that challenge by tagging 3+ enemies with the recon drone, you'll have unlocked that basic M13B blueprint, and now all you have to do is end that match, equip the blueprint as a contraband weapon, and then just spawn into DMZ with this blueprint. Now obviously because it is a contraband weapon, you do have a chance of losing it, so if you spawn in and you die, unfortunately you will lose the weapon, but that's okay because there are other methods. So this is just one of the easiest ways to do it, but if you lose it, it doesn't matter, so don't worry. When you spawn into DMZ in another match with this blueprint, head to the nearest exfil point straight away, ideally by vehicle without engaging an enemy gunfire whatsoever. So just go straight to the exfil point, don't do anything else. At the exfil point, again, run into the green smoke, call in the helicopter, take cover, and then when it gets there, hop into the helicopter, and you now will have permanently unlocked the M13B weapon once again. So like I say, definitely not too difficult of a method whatsoever, but you have to have the Chemist whereabouts faction mission, and you can only do this once because you only get given that blueprint once, unfortunately. Now if you want to unlock the base weapon but you don't want to do the thing in Vondel and you don't have the Crown mission in DMZ to do the Chemist whereabouts mission, then there's actually 2 other ways to still unlock the M13B in Modern 2 and Warzone. The first method is basically to get a teammate to drop it for you in DMZ. So if you have any teammates who have already unlocked it, get them to spawn in with you with the M13B weapon, then get them to drop it straight away on the floor so you can pick it up, then head immediately again for the exfil field point, and if you exfil successfully you'll unlock the weapon. It's obviously more difficult because it requires getting someone that actually has that weapon to load into a match with you and drop it for you, but if you leave a comment below this video, I'm sure there'll be people that will unlock it and then can drop it for you in the game, or maybe they can team up with you to get this done more easily. So if you guys want to team up with someone, leave a comment. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that want help with that. So that's the third method done. It's the easiest one by far, but it requires knowing someone with the weapon, which can be more difficult. However, there is another method, which is the final method. This one is the most reliable in the sense that it is more difficult, but every time you go here you will be able to get the weapon if you do it successfully. It is more difficult though, so we'll talk about how to do it as quickly and as easily as possible. So this one is actually according to the challenge in-game, which says for the M13B, unlock it by defeating the Chemist in the radiation zone of DMZ and extracting his dropped weapon. So basically find the Chemist, kill him, pick up his dropped weapon, and that'll be the M13B blueprint, and you'll obviously then unlock the weapon. So it's really important to get a good setup. So first of all, for your class setup, make sure you put on a weapon that you're happy with, you know, in the insured weapon slot, such as a sniper, but it can also be an assault rifle or an LMG, and ideally try and put on a suppressor with these weapons to avoid alerting enemies when you shoot them. For the equipment, put on a stim or a spotter scope, and for the lethal, put on a Semtex or a thermite grenade, and for the field upgrade, put on something like a munitions box so you've got more ammo. For when you run out of ammo, you can quickly resupply with some more. I'd also recommend, if you can, try and put on a kill streak, so you have to obviously get this in the game and exfil with it, but try and get it, and the one I recommend is the precision airstrike or something like a UAV. Either of those would be good, and I'll explain why in just a minute. So once you've actually got your class set up, what do you need to do? Well, you need to actually set up in game first of all. Now you can find all the items you're going to need in the same game as when you're actually killing the Chemist, but the problem with that is you might die, and also by that point the Chemist might actually have been killed by someone else, because lots of people go for the Chemist. So it's better to, I would recommend, to do a setup game first before, to kind of of acquire all the stuff you need, exfil with it so you have it all on your character, and then next time you can spawn straight into the game and go for the Chemist. And that's the way I'd recommend to do it, and here is what you want to do. So first of all, the things you need are money. So obviously you can get it from AI kills, looting, contracts, that kind of thing. You want a 2 or 3 plate armor vest, ideally a large backpack so you can store more items, lots of armor plates, enough ammo, 2 good weapons, extra stims. You can get these from everywhere, you know, dead enemy AI, medicine cupboards in bathrooms, first aid kits, and also other things. You definitely want 1 or 2 self revives on you just in case you go down, or a revive pistol. And also you ideally want at least 1 or 2 bottles of radiation blocker and or some gas masks, because basically you're going to take radiation damage. Now most of these items can be found from looting or bought from buy stations with cash, or crafted by bartering at the store by trading for other items. So for example, a revive pistol can be attained by trading for a bandage and some soothing hand cream, so fairly easy, but you have to have killed the Chemist already to barter for that item. And if you want cash, that's absolutely fine. I'd recommend, you know, unlocking the wallet, storing up some cash from previous games, and then bring it in to buy some of this stuff if you want to do that. Or you can go and search for these items. So for gas masks, you can find these on dead enemy players, especially near the radiation zone or in the radiation zone. You can also find them in chests. You can buy them in the store for $2,000. And we now also have other gas masks. We have like durable gas masks, so they last longer, and scuba gas masks, so they're a gas mask, but they also have the ability to breathe underwater. So those can be quite useful as well. Ideally try and go for a durable gas mask if you can, because it lasts longer, but whatever one you can get your hands on is fine. Another great way to source all these items, and I'd highly recommend doing, is actually doing contracts. In specific, there's a couple of different contracts you can do. The first one is secure supplies contract, and the second one is raid weapon stash contract. Now the secure supplies contract basically highlights 3 loot boxes for you to find and open across the map. They're normally quite close together. And the second one, the raid weapon stash contract, allows you to capture a stronghold and raid a weapon stash, and basically you clear all enemies in the building and defend the building from a wave of incoming enemies. It's more difficult, but it does give you good loot as well. Now both these contracts do give you good rewards, so they often give you like larger backpacks, armor vests, gas masks or durable gas masks, self-revive kits or revive pistols, money, that kind of thing. But I would say secure supplies contracts are actually much easier to do and less risky, so try doing a few of these first. There's likely only 1 or 2 you're going to need to get all the stuff. It's really not too difficult at all. Don't forget you can also loot buildings for this stuff as well, so going to like strongholds, you know, with a stronghold keycard, clearing those, going to locked points of interest on the map. So for example on Vondel, if you go to Aquarium, or Mazrah, there's like for example the shopping centre, which is locked but you can get into it from the top for free. You can go to police stations, hospitals. All these places are really, really good. Not all of them are locked, like police stations and hospitals aren't, but the rest are. All these places are really, really good at giving you loot, so make sure you go to those places if you can. And you then want to find a suitable vehicle to travel over to the radiation zone, which is that yellow circle on the map with the pink radioactive symbol, like I say. And ideally you want to play with teammates that will help you and that you can communicate with, but solo is still possible too. I often do it solo and it's absolutely fine. I'd also recommend trying to get a kill streak if you can, such as a UAV so you can see where enemies are when you're in the radiation zone, or something like a precision airstrike so you can call that in and actually take out some of the enemies to make your work a little bit easier. I'd highly recommend buying one of those if you can, or finding them, as it will make your job a lot easier, especially if you're really struggling with this challenge. Now once you have everything, head over to the radioactive zone and find a good vantage point. You can then start taking out enemies one by one near the edge of the radiation zone. Ideally use a weapon like I say with a silencer so enemies aren't alerted to your presence. And obviously stepping into this zone will cause you to quickly take radiation damage and die, hence if you need a gas mask still, try to lure an enemy to the edge of the zone and kill them, then quickly dip into the radioactive field to pick up a gas mask. Most enemies will drop one if they're inside the zone, if you don't already have a gas mask, that is. If you have, then obviously don't worry about it. And once you have a gas mask or radiation blocker and have picked off a few enemies that are visible, head into the radioactive zone. I'd recommend using the radiation blocker if you have one. It lasts 2 minutes without needing the gas mask, so use that first, and then you can acquire a few gas masks from killing enemies and pick them up in your bag. Obviously the bigger the bag, the more you can store, and then you can use them as and when afterwards. But radiation blocker is really, really useful. And then if the Chemist has not been killed by other enemy players, a banner will pop up on screen saying the Chemist is close by, and therefore you know you will have to find and kill him. If when you get near to / go into the zone it doesn't pop up, it's very likely that he's already been killed, and therefore you'll need to start another game to find him. That's why it's important to do a setup game first and then go into the next game with all the stuff straight away. Now you obviously come across lots of other enemy AI too, so try to take them out slowly, keep picking up gas masks so you don't run out and die, and push slowly, take cover frequently, reload when sensible, and try to find the Chemist. Now like I say, you can use a kill streak too, such as the precision airstrike, to thin the amount of enemies around too, so once you're in there, call that in. That will obviously take some enemies out. It might even kill the Chemist, or at least it will thin some of the other enemies protecting him. The Chemist is an enemy in a bright yellow hazmat suit. Should be really obvious to find him, although often once the Chemist is alerted to your presence, they might actually come towards you. Now the Chemist has a lot of health, it can be really difficult to kill him, so make sure you have lethal equipment, plenty of ammo, or you can shoot the Chemist first from far away with a sniper, for example. If you do 2 shots to the head, that should kill him, or otherwise just, you know, use your kill streaks, use your lethals, just keep shooting him as much as you can and do as much damage as you can, and eventually he should die, but try and get those headshots because he'll die a lot quicker. Now once you go up to him and kill him, you'll be told by the voice announcer he's down, so then go up to him, look for his weapon, and it should be a bright yellow M13B variant. Luckily, he'll also drop a few other goodies, so he'll drop an advanced UAV, he'll drop, I think, a medic 2-plate vest as well, and he'll drop a gold skull, which is useful for a lot of things, so try and pick up all that other stuff as well. It's not just the M13B variant, but obviously that's what you guys want in this video. Now once you pick up this weapon, get back into your vehicle, head straight for the exfil point, as you need to get out of there as soon as possible without dying, otherwise you'll lose your weapon and you'll have to start all over again. Drive to the exfil point, again, run into the green smoke, hold square X to call in the helicopter to leave the map, then run behind cover, wait until the helicopter lands, run straight into the helicopter to exfil, and if you do that successfully, you'll have finally earned the M13B weapon, so well done to you. Now once you unlock the M13B, you'll want to level it up and make a good class, so check out my Season 5 Weapon XP guide via the card on screen or link in the description. Hope you guys found this helpful. There was 4 easy ways to earn this weapon in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone Season 5. I know you guys struggle a lot, but hopefully this made it a bit easier. If you guys found this helpful, be sure to leave a like. Like I say, check out my other Season 5 guides, and make sure to subscribe by clicking the bell icon to stay up to date with all my latest Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone videos. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys found it helpful, and I'll see you all on the next one.